Hey, hey guys, how's it going? I am waiting on a tow, but in the meantime, I saw a story, a fantastic story, a piece of information that y'all are not going to believe. Looks like Diddy is dealing with some more BS. A phone that allegedly belonged to him has popped up on the black market, and it reportedly has 3 years of data on it. Now, it's rumored that this phone was left behind at a studio session, and now it's being shopped around to media outlets and filmmakers. I wasn't sure if this was, the validity. I wasn't sure of the validity of this publication because I was like, what is, I've never heard this before, but I found the same story on Radar online. So I do think that it's real and it's true. So the phone contains obviously private conversations, documents, and who knows what else. We'll get into whether I believe is true or not, but needless to say, they say that, while he's facing all these charges, this phone could contain information that both the government and Diddy's own team would want to get a hold of. No one knows who's behind the sale. They are asking for a hefty price, and legal experts say that if they whoever is responsible for selling the phone could be in trouble though. And they said that there's been multiple people who've owned the phone, so people have been trying to do something with the phone and passing it on to other people. I don't know if that involves from sale to sale, but as you can imagine, the legal ramifications for selling somebody else's information or phone, or even just someone like this, a Diddy, could be catastrophic. So the only person to sell it to is someone that can handle the legal firestorm that comes with that, right? And this is also on the heels of Friday's hearing, trying to figure out if this third bail attempt will be a no go or a go. That's going to take place tomorrow. But I think that this kind of quietly fell under the radar. I know you guys have been seeing Shyne like promoting, seemingly like telling his story and opening up about what's going on, but he's actively promoting his documentary because he has a deal with Hulu. Well, they sent a cease and desist about 2 or 3 days ago to him, and it's funny because I haven't seen anyone talk about it. I think there's been so many stories. It's just like bam, bam, bam. So some people had speculated that Shyne coming out of nowhere talking about this, like he obviously wants something. And I heard some vloggers say, "Oh, there he's just kind of ramping up. He's giving a little bit here, a little bit there, with hopes that perhaps he'll be on Diddy's 'Let me pay you to shut up' list." But turns out he has this Hulu documentary in the works, and Diddy's people obviously heard about it, and then instead of like, I guess paying it to go away, sent a cease and desist. They say that they don't want to control the narrative. They just want to make sure that the accurate events are being told. Now, if I have a situation with someone, say my ex-husband, and I want to tell that story, but he tells me I can't tell that story, or I shouldn't, otherwise he'll sue me because he wants to add his part to, like, you know how crazy that sounds? Like, I gotta make sure that this script is the up to par and it includes all the truthful parts. Well, we already heard your version of the truth, right? We kind of did, and now it's his turn. Like, give him that grace. I understand. I understand that what Shyne might have to say may change the whole trajectory of a lot of things. I don't know if the statute of limitations has ran out on that. I really don't know how that works, guys. But I just can't imagine that the public knowing that you may have possibly been involved with a shooting that hurt people and you encourage someone else to take the fall. I mean, any decision made on your life from that moment on could just be more of a negative one. I could see that definitely affecting how people view you. And so even if it's just tried in the court of public opinion, it's probably not something he wants to get out. And I've heard various things about that, whether Shyne was actively shooting or not. And it was Diddy's bullet that hit someone, all that I've heard. It's alleged. I don't really have a lot of intel on that either. So please don't quote me on any of that. But here, let's go back to the phone situation. So I was reading some comments earlier. Let me see if I can find some of them about the phone. So I was reading some comments, and I could just tell you while I'm typing. There were people, for the most part, underneath this story about the phone being for sale. And most of them were like, we're done. We're tired of reading about this stuff. They really were over it. But there were two people that stood out. So one person felt like the story was a fake. And she said, who doesn't, I think that she assumed that the phone was an old phone and he tossed it. And she was like, who doesn't wipe a phone when you get rid of it, blah, 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 blah. And the thing is that he didn't get rid of it. He lost it. But it did make me think, okay, one better. If you lose a phone, then you immediately wipe it, right? Especially if it's an iPhone, all you have to do is log in, say the phone is lost, and you can't log back in on that phone. That phone becomes inactive. At least that's what they tell us, right? So I just can't imagine him being someone that, being so important and powerful and having a lot of information, a lot of contacts with, the movers and shakers in several industries, that will just leave a phone somewhere and be like, I'm gonna buy a new one. Just your text messages, your pictures, and maybe that's just it. Maybe they were able to gather what was on the phone local. Maybe they were able to take all that, maybe back it up or something like that. But I just can't imagine that you have access to 3 years worth of data. That doesn't make sense to me. Someone like that could easily say, hey, I lost my phone, buy me a new one. And then you get a new phone and someone goes in and they lock up everything and you're fine, you're good, you're safe. That's my thought. I don't see anyone being that silly. But on the flip though, reading that the potential buyers were media outlets and, networks, they're the only entities that will be able to, one, afford to buy this phone, use the information to make more money, and have the legal teams and specialty to fight this in court, or to at least find a way to say that, we legally have access to this information for whatever reason. There's always a law. There's always a law and a law and a law. They didn't steal it, right? So if I try to buy it, absolutely, they're going to put me under the house. I'm not going to be able to use anything. And they'll probably make it seem like I stole the phone. But if you use a Time Warner, I'm just using an example, or Netflix, Netflix will have the whole project staffed, shot, everything before you could even get to your own, his own court case in May. And then by the time you guys are finished fighting this out in court, the project has been released and we've already made our money on it and we moved on. And, so I see it being a huge conglomerate, a huge company buying this, and not a regular person. So while, it's hot out there on the black market, it's who wants to touch it? There's a lot of things that are for sale on the black market that no one can do anything with. So while the publication is made it to seem like, oh my God, his secrets are for sale, it's what can you do? If nothing else, someone can buy it and just release a blind item. just once a week. Like you can create a whole channel on Diddy stuff and then just do one thing at a time. And just, it can't be too on the nose. Just trickle it out. Just, I don't know. That sounds crazy. But tomorrow they are going to resume the hearing on the bail hearing, and both sides are supposed to describe a scenario where he gets out and how communication works, which I think is a weird exercise. Like, the government doesn't want him to get out, so why would we even come up with any sort of plan for that? Like, I don't understand that. We have evidence that he has been tampering with witnesses. He reached out to family members asking for them to dig up dirt on individuals. He has been in contact with an investigator who has been reaching out to witnesses. Like, they have all this evidence. Not only did they have it, the his team has what's the word? They've owned up to it. They've actually said, they confirmed it. They confirmed, yes, he has. And now that we know that that's not okay, we told him to stop. Is what they said, and that's just a crock of shit. Like, you ain't supposed to be talking to anybody or using other people's phones, or even you're in here because you were, meaning he hasn't been let go. He was not released in terms of bail the first couple times because there were 2 witnesses that he was contacting incessantly. And they just found out that there's a third person, but I don't see any intel on who that person is, or what, if that person, or how that person relates to the case. That's something I've been looking for. I haven't found anything. Maybe I will just wait till tomorrow to see if they talk about it some more. But I just don't see, like, it's just getting worse. Like, this pile is getting bigger. How does this end with him walking out later on this week? Because essentially it means that he can buy his way out. And if he's doing those things in custody, I mean, we're only left to believe that eventually he will do things, the same things or worse, while not in custody. That's the logical line of thought. I know intention is one thing, right? But like, the logical line of thought, if you have repeatedly done things to, to negate the rules, then you're a rule breaker. You're a rule breaker. So those are my thoughts. If he gets out, I think that a lot of people will laugh at this whole court situation. Even though the trial hasn't started, I think a lot of people have seen how celebrity culture has crashed and burned, how we have been told that all these people are special for some magical reason. And come to find out, it's a pay to play. Come to find out, you have to actually be, in this clique. Like, there's so many people who didn't make it because they weren't a part of that clique. And you never know if you're going to be a member or if you're going to be a sacrifice. It's just like, what? Like, that's crazy. Celebrity culture is crashing and burning. And I think that's a good thing. I think the whole thing needs to be dismantled. I think the internet is doing a great job in doing that. Where there are people who have millions of followers. I've never seen their face. I don't know what they do. What does this person do? Do you have 1 million people following you? Like, I think that is, outside of the fact that social media manipulates a whole great deal and it favors certain people for certain reasons, a lot of them not being fair, of course, right? I do feel like you at least have a chance. You can make some music today and you could sell it, and an audience that likes your music could find you. That's amazing. Having to go and do the tango with somebody at a party and just so you could be on TV? Pick somebody else, please. I don't want to do it. And for those of you that don't work in the industry, it's not like that for everybody. It's not. I know people that have never done anything like that, that would not dare to dream to do anything like that. And there's certain people that just know that they won't, that won't accept it. I was listening to Lisa Rae, her interview with Carlos King. If you're a woman and you're interested in this business, or even just a woman in your middle ages or just mature, just go listen to it. Like, there's a lot of gems in there. Like, I had no idea that Lisa Rae was that deep. So there's a point in there where Carlos asks her about this Diddy and all this, the celebrity crash out, if you will. And she says she has never been propositioned. And we know her to be diamond. I mean, this thing has carried, this is, I think, 20 years, right? 20 years since she's played that character. And people are still remember her for being this sexy and vivacious, like, stripper in Players Club. So you would think that she would be approached all the time. And I've seen the way she carries herself around LA. I've seen her, like, she's very no nonsense. Like, she is not the girl you're going to run up on and say, hi, like, you better have something to say. She's definitely a no nonsense person. Like, she demands respect. She does. And some people might misconstrue that as being, like, stuck up or unapproachable, but you just don't get to approach people. Like, people are not here. We're not out here just to give good energy to everyone. But long story short, before I get too far off the topic, she said that not only has she never done casting couch, she said that no one has ever propositioned her in that way. And she's worked with the greats. She's worked with Will Packer. She's worked with the Smiths. She's worked with them on their show. I think was it All of Us or something? I forget the name of that show, but that was a pretty fun show. She's done a lot of great things. And to say, just to hear that a woman who is known for being attractive, right, and has and I would say has a untraditional sort of Hollywood story, like she said, I came here to work and I continue to work in my 50s and I've never been treated that way. That right there should be enough for anyone, confirmation for any woman to know that if you don't want to do something, you don't have to. If there's a will, there's a way. And she did speak about, there were projects that she read for that she said she wasn't chosen for, or things that didn't feel right in the moment. And she just really is, I hear actors, especially comedians, talk all the time. You have a lot of regrets, right? A lot of times where it's like, I should have did this, I should have did that. But I love that she had no regrets. Like, she said every project was meant to be. And even there were moments where she was like unsure about this or that, or, oh, I should have tried to get this or that, or whatever, like wishful thinking, like, yeah, if I would have went out for that, I would have booked for that. Really? That's not how that works, right? It's not how that works. But it's just refreshing to hear someone who's been in this industry for a long time not be jaded, because when you hear these stories over and over, and when you see the list of people, do me a favor. If anything I'm saying to you is interesting to you, I want you to Google Janice Combs Publishing. Janice Combs is Diddy's mom. Janice Combs Publishing or Justin Combs Publishing. You will find basically all the songs that Diddy and his like companies have published, songs they published. You will see pretty much it's like the soundtrack of our life. It's like every big song, damn near every big song, R&B, hip hop song you've ever heard. Like, it's the anthems. It's the, if we were to have that like compilation, like the CDs we had in the 90s, like it's that. And he's had these transactional business relationships with I'm saying it like that because I'm going to get to a point, with all these different stars, and pretty much the hand in creating the greats, creating the Jay-Z's, creating the Beyonce's, creating the Rihanna's. They were all like this. The Mariah Careys, the Mariah post the divorce with the little white outfit on and the rainbow. When they talk about like everybody wanted to be a part of Bad Boy, oh, this is going to be the people. Hold on real quick. Hello? Oh, you're outside? Okay. Okay, I'm coming right now. Thank you. Bye. Okay. So the people are here to jump my car, and I got to get to set. But long story short, when you look at that list, it'll blow your mind because you see that all these people he had a hand in making all these people stars. It's crazy. I'm gonna do a video on it, but I want you to go and look so you can see what I mean, and it just will change your mind about how all this really works. It's crazy. Anyway, thanks for watching. I gotta go. Bye.